Our next guest, Gian Villante, is having a blast listening to Steven here. That's your first time hearing it?
Oh, my God, I'm dying. That's awesome, yeah. My first time.
What do you think of that? The guy says that he taught that kick to, and you saw the fight, right?
Yeah.
He says he's the inventor of the kick. What do you think? As a mixed martial artist, is that crazy?
Absolutely. There is no way he came up with that. But Anderson Silva, he comes up with strikes like that all the time, and you're just wondering, how did he do that? So he's a guy that's going to amaze you every time out there. And for Steven Seagal to say that he taught him that's insane. That's hilarious. And I love his shooting glasses.
Do you almost think like Anderson's playing a prank on us here? Because, he said that Steven taught him do you think he's just like, because you know how sometimes Anderson is, he plays jokes, things like that. Do you almost think this is all just one big joke?
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's just more people probably like him for it because, I mean, he probably didn't have the best, fans probably weren't have the best outlook on him coming into this fight. And then, maybe bring in a guy like Steven Seagal. Everyone loves those 90s action films right there from him. So maybe, he'll get more fan from it or something like that. But, I mean, I think it's hilarious. There's no way that he taught him that kick. I mean, he's probably done that a million times. And now all of a sudden Steven Seagal taught him? No way.
All right. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for coming on the show. Great to have you here. And thank you to the good people at Cage Hero, which is actually one of my favorite MMA brands. And I'm not just saying that because they're here and they've given us great prizes. They've also given me, and this has kind of raised their stock in my book. Look at this, Josh. Look what we got here. AOL Fan House MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani, making Monday mornings better since June 18th. Wow. I didn't even notice that. That is very thoughtful.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you, Mark, in the background. He doesn't want to be noticed, but this is awesome. And Cage Hero has a very cool brand because it's kind of like they make all of you guys into superheroes, right?
Yeah, I like it for sure.
And do you have your own shirt over there?
I'm a big superhero guy. Yeah, this is my first one here. We might change it up a little bit because I just signed on with them about a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, this will be my shirt for this upcoming fight, February 12th. I'm a big superhero guy too. I love all the movies and stuff like that. So this is a real.
But that's
cool
not
concept.
You on the shirt.
No,
right?
this is mine for the fight. Yeah,
right,
and then I might change it up a little bit, because they're gonna make it, which is pretty cool. They make it to what the fighter wants.
I like that. I like that.
So it's
all right,
awesome.
I'm gonna put this here.
Nice. That's fresh.
It's gonna fall, so I'll just leave it there for now, and then we'll hang it up. But thank you so much to the good people at Cage Hero, CageHero.net, right? .net. That's the website. Check them out. Great people. And then later on, we're going to give out some T-shirts and some cool stuff from them. Lithograph. I mean, it's unbelievable. So thank you so much to them. All right, John, you are making your Strikeforce debut on February 12th, this coming Saturday, on a massive card. You are, in many people's eyes, one of the top prospects in MMA, but as a light heavyweight. Yeah. You're fighting at heavyweight against Chad Griggs. Why heavyweight?
It's just, it's all heavyweight card. I also have the belt in a local organization, the Ring of Combat, at heavyweight and light heavyweight. So I guess, Showtime, they were coming to, Strikeforce was coming to New Jersey. They saw, a top local show guy, the champion heavyweight. Why not put him on the same card? And I think that's how I got the opportunity. And, now that I'm out there, I'll hopefully come in there with a win. I don't think he's too big of a heavyweight, Chad Griggs. I think his last fight he weighed in like 230, something like that. And I walk around 235 as it is. So it's really, now I get to eat burgers.
Would you prefer, though, fighting at light heavyweight?
Yeah, I definitely would. It's not that it's, I prefer it because cutting weight's never fun. But it's just I think that's where that weight suits me better, going against guys that are my size. Here I might see a guy like Alistair Overeem, who's just an absolute monster. If I stayed at heavyweight, fighting a guy like that wouldn't be no fun.
And this is a reserve bout, right, for the tournament?
Yeah. I mean, if I ever got the opportunity to fight any of those guys, it'd be awesome. There's no way that I could, turn it down or anything like that.
Watch, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
You gonna jack that or what? You were slowly opening it. That is an Anderson Silva signature watch right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I need to get some of this stuff.
Yeah,
I got to get good first, I guess. Huh?
You come on the show and you start winning a few fights, we'll hook you up.
For sure.
So you can actually, if you win, obviously, and one of those guys gets injured, the 8 guys, Gian Villante from Hofstra University slides right in there.
Yeah, it'd be pretty awesome. I mean, from fighting in a Ring of Combat smaller show to Strikeforce main card, first fight, and then, maybe I get in the tournament. That'd be, pretty whirlwind couple months there, and be pretty awesome, but you never know. I'm just taking it one fight at a time, like everyone says, but, just right now, just go beachhead Griggs.
You know what's the amazing thing about your story is, Strikeforce has this Challenger Series, right? And most of the guys who they sign, who are relatively unknown, they put them there and they have them work their way up. Just ask LeVar Johnson and Shane Del Rosario, who are also fighting on your card. They are putting you on the main card of not just any kind of show, the return of Fedor Emelianenko. I mean, a massive show with 2 first-round fights. I mean, how did that actually happen where you didn't have to go the Challenger Series route?
I mean, I don't know. I
Who's
think
your manager, man? That guy needs a raise.
Yeah, he's Ian. The guys at Cage here, they take care of me. But it's just, I think it's something that they're coming to New Jersey. They want a local guy, and I have a great fan base. You go to any Ring of Combat show, I pretty much when I'm fighting or my buddy Chris Weidman's fighting, if we're either one of us, we're usually fighting on the same card. We usually sell out the crowd, just us two. So I mean, we're gonna sell out tickets, stuff like that. I think it's something where a local draw, and and I think I'm a guy that's on the rise, and I think maybe they saw something in me that I like to finish fights, exciting. I don't know. I think it's something that they want to take advantage of while they can, and when they come to Jersey, I'm definitely comfortable taking the fight here.
What kind of contract did you sign with them?
I'm signed up for 2 years, 6 fights. I guess
Exclusive?
Whatever comes first. Yeah, exclusive.
So you can't fight for Ring of Combat anymore?
No more Ring of Combat. So
you've you vacated your titles?
Yeah.
Was that sad?
Yeah, because I just it was a goal of mine once I started fighting. My first fight was with that organization, and once I started fighting, I said, hey, I want to be the light heavyweight and heavyweight champion in this organization. I feel like I could do it, and
Ricardo Romero did it, right?
Yeah. It was something that I had said in previous that, wow, that was pretty awesome. I seen him do it. I think my second fight, he had both belts. I'm like, I got to do that someday. And when it came down to it, I should have done this probably like 6 months ago, but I wind up dislocating my elbow in a fight, which is pretty stupid. But
you didn't do it on purpose, right?
No.
I'm assuming?
No, not at all. And so it just could have happened like 6 months ago. But thankfully, if that happened, I probably wouldn't be here today fighting on this big card.
Why do you think so?
Because I feel like if I'd won that fight, I'd have been 7-0. Maybe fight one more time in the ring, I'm 8-0. And at that time, all of my fights were first round knockouts. I probably would have signed on somewhere else. And I mean, if I didn't do that, and then have to wait until December to finally fight again, then I wouldn't be able to fight, in February on this great card. So I think it all works out for a reason, and I, thank God for, having it work out that way.
Now, shoot straight with us here, all right? What about the UFC? I mean, I've heard you say it before. You said in interviews your goal is to end up in the UFC. Obviously, you fight for Strikeforce now. I don't want you to talk bad about your new employer or anything, but is that still a goal of yours?
I don't know so much. I mean, Strikeforce is an organization that I feel like right now they actually have some awesome fighters. So it's not like I'm not going to have an opportunity to fight the best in the world, which is why you sign on with these big organizations, is so you could go fight the best in the world and see what you got. And I mean, at 205, I mean, this is not a fun organization to be in at 205 or heavyweight. So whichever one, they got me slated to go at. But also, yeah, UFC's, everyone. Oh wow, I'm at the bar the other night watching the UFC fight with a couple buddies, and everyone's like, "Oh, that'll be you one day." And I'm like, well, they don't realize that Strikeforce is
you've made it
like that. Yeah, so it's something that it needs to keep getting its recognition, and to most fighters and the people who really watch this stuff, it is getting its recognition. But to the everyday guy in a bar who goes, "Hey, I could do that kick," they don't know the difference. So it's something that maybe one day I would like to do it, but I feel like Strikeforce has given me a great opportunity. They're awesome to me, and I mean, we'll see how it goes. I still haven't fought for them, but I'm loving it so far.
Now, you want a piece of Anderson Silva or what? What's going on here?
Yeah, I know.
I'm
a fidgety guy, man. I guess I don't know.
No, it's okay. I do that all the time. Anderson's a fun one. I recommend Randy. Randy's muscular
jacked,
back.
Man.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That's one of the old school round 5 toys. You mentioned guys who just say, I could do that, guys in bars. You started out as a football player, right? But you also were a wrestler, correct?
Right.
At Hofstra, you were a linebacker. You were very close enough to making the NFL, right?
Yeah.
What happened?
I had a couple tryouts. Was in mini camp, stuff like that. It was just one of those things where I thought I should have been drafted. Like I was, what did I weigh? 255, I think I was. I ran like a 4.5 40. Was had all the numbers, a couple time All-American, all that stuff, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like I didn't know what had happened. I guess maybe my agent, whatever. It just didn't find myself in the right opportunity from the get-go. and it really turned me off to it. So I wasn't. There's a lot of guys, like they said last night. I don't know if you're watching the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I
James
missed that.
Harrison.
I was busy.
James Harrison was a guy that he trains with the same trainer I had and
Oh,
stuff
wow.
like that in Pennsylvania. A place called Powertrain. They train pretty much all the Steelers, a lot of those guys, and he was a guy that was cut 4 times before he made it to the NFL, and then he's the defensive NFL MVP. So I didn't want to be a guy, not that anything's wrong with it. That's awesome. I just didn't want to be a guy that, floated around and took a little while to catch on somewhere. It kind of turned me off to the whole NFL thing, and that's why I started fighting.
Does a part of you still wish that you would have at least had a shot in the NFL?
Not at all.
Cup of coffee?
I mean, I did my, I think when it all said and done, I probably did about, 6 days, so not even a week.
Which team?
I was with the Bucks for I think 3 or 4 days, and then the Jets for a day, and I think the Eagles for a day.
Wow.
So
Just a day. Was that all in the span of 6 days?
yeah. I'm counting it all in 6 days.
Okay,
yeah.
but it wasn't like a 1 week where you were bouncing around.
No,
Okay.
I think that was probably over 2 or 3 weeks.
Gotcha.
So.
Then at what point do you say, okay, I'm done with this? Like, did you even consider going to the CFL or?
No, I
Europe?
wanted NFL or bust,
Right,
know,
yeah.
and that's what it was to me. Or no arena, none of that stuff. I really thought I was good enough to be in the NFL at that point, and it kind of turned me off when you go into these camps and they have their guys. You know what I mean? And it's that's like anything. It's who you know, but they have their guys that they were gonna get the better opportunity that I did, and most of the time I didn't even get to. Besides in Tampa, I didn't really get to throw on pads and hit somebody. So it's kind of it's a business like anything else, and they have their guys that they want to push through, and I just wasn't, I guess, at the right time and with the right team, which is what kind of stunk, but it led me to this. And like I said, I guess God does everything for a reason. I'm pretty happy that where I'm at right now.
So you come to terms that you're done with the NFL. I'm sure you take a couple of weeks, months, whatever to yourself. When do you start thinking about MMA?
Well, I had always thought about MMA. I one of my wrestling coaches in high school, I went to his first fight, and I was like, right from there, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I'm like, I got to do this someday. And, with football and everything else, it was just something I couldn't really train at while I'm playing football. When I was playing football, everything I did in life was football. So once that was over, right away, within probably a month of my last tryout with the Eagles, I was at Belmore Kickboxing, and then within 3 or 4 months of that, I had my first pro fight. No amateur, no nothing like that. Just went right in there, and didn't know much. I made it like it was like a kickoff. Went right at the guy and bloodied him up real nice, just punching like I was a maniac. I didn't know what I was doing, but it went good. I won. So.
And then you knew right then and there, right?
I knew right there.
You?
Yeah, I knew I had to get better. First
Right.
of all, because I was tired after 35 seconds of punching and blood everywhere.
Oh, you just killed the
All right,
Randy
he's good,
Couture.
he's
You just
good. I
amputated
took his
him.
leg off.
Jeez, you are a strong man.
So yeah, I knew right there that this is something I want to do, because the excitement of that is better than any feeling I've ever had on a football field or wrestling mat. It was just awesome.
It's interesting when the Ultimate Fighter had their season with all the heavyweights. There were some ex-football players.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys, like Marcus Jones, we just had Matt Mitrione on the show. He's developed a lot since then. But a lot of those guys who are ex-NFLers, they were saying that it's tougher to train for a fight than to just be,
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Without a doubt. And it's more physically demanding. I'm saying football, that's why I don't get why MMA isn't legal in New York.
Right.
You know what I mean? Football is 10 times worse injuries, you know what I'm saying? But as far as getting in shape and all that other stuff, oh my God, this blows that away. I mean, it's wrestling times 10, and wrestling's the hardest thing I ever did. So.
Do you think we're going to see more football players come? Guys who, back in the day, 25 years ago, football players, their careers, didn't pan out. A lot of them actually went into pro wrestling 30 years ago, things like that. Now, do you think we'll see a lot of those guys come to MMA?
Yeah, I think you could. Just an athlete in general could do this sport. It's like, first of all, you got to be an athlete. First of all, then you got to be tough, and that's football players. So I think a football player, wrestler, but if you're a football player, I think they have to have some wrestling experience to do it, because it's tough to do this without any wrestling, in my opinion. I give the guys credit who are able to do this and never wrestled before, because it's a big part of it, and it's a big part of teaching your lungs how to handle that. Because in football, it's 9-second burst or 4-second burst. That's how long a play is, and and it's completely different in MMA and wrestling and all that other stuff. So that's going to be the biggest thing, is getting over first the cardio, and then learning how to scramble and all that other stuff. So football, I think you can see a lot of good athletes do it, and there's definitely a lot of guys that have done it, but they got to learn the wrestling, if I was going to tell them first.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. You wrestled at Hofstra, right?
I did for like a year. It wasn't. It was something I tried to do, but it was something I really couldn't do. My body couldn't handle it. I kept getting hurt.
Where'd you wrestle before that?
MacArthur High School in Long Island. We're pretty good. We're ranked like #1 in New York State usually for like 10 years. So we're really a good team.
How good of a wrestler were you?
I was pretty good. I mean, my buddy beat me in high school.
Yeah.
Gotta mention that, Chris.
Chris, we'll ask him
me.
about this. A guy by the name of Ryan Bader fought this weekend, right?
Yeah.
He knows him well, right?
Yeah, I think Weidman beat him too.
Wow,
so I can't complain,
And you train with him?
Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine. So yeah, he'd beat me in high school, but that was when I was a young buck. He's only a year older.
Now you beat him.
I tell him that all. Now, no, he still takes care of it. No, he's a good friend of mine. We'd go at it, and he helps me prepare, and especially for this fight and everything like that. I feel well prepared for going with guys like that, and you need guys like that. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it. But yeah, I was pretty good. I was a state champ. I took 3rd in my junior year. Probably should have won it that year too. I was ranked #1. And was an All-American and all that other stuff. But yeah, I was pretty good. I wrestled at 215, so at 215 I was just athletically more gifted than most of the guys I wrestled in high school.
Okay, let's talk about the fight. Chad Griggs is a guy who has served up to Bobby Lashley, and let's be honest, I don't think Strikeforce really thought he was going to beat Bobby Lashley.
No way.
He kind of ruined their plans. And Lashley says he was sick. He had all kinds of problems, and that's why he couldn't. And Lashley has actually been openly campaigning for a rematch. Clearly, that's not happening anytime soon. Now you're fighting this guy who they had no plans for, and I'm actually happy that they're giving Griggs another shot, because they brought in guys like Scott Carson, things like that. And we all know those were kind of like guys to make the opponent look better, Herschel Walker, Lashley,
right,
etc. But they're giving him a shot because he won, and they're putting him up against you. It's a fun fight to open the televised portion of the card. What do you know about Griggs other than he beat Bobby Lashley, in August?
I know that about him.
That's good. That's a start. I know that too.
No, I think he's a tough guy. Like, that's what they underestimated about him. Strikeforce probably, and Bobby Lashley, is that he's a tough guy. He's going to take, if he needs to take a beating, he's able to do it and then come back and continue to fight hard. So he never counted himself out of that fight, which is something that's dangerous when anybody you fight. And it's not like he's got a bad record. He's 8-1, so I don't know what they were thinking, and I don't know if Lashley took him lightly or whatever. But
is this a showcase fight for you?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, at Ring of Combat, let's say, have you been fighting tougher guys than Chad Griggs, in your opinion?
I don't know. I think it's been a step up every fight. I take it as the next fight is the best opponent I've ever had. So I'm not ever gonna try to take anyone lightly. It's just not a smart thing to do in the sport, because especially, like I said, when I dislocated my elbow, that was a guy who wasn't very good. Well, sorry, man, but I don't think he was very good. A guy that I could beat, I would say 100% of the time, except for this one time when I dislocated my arm. And you can't take anyone lightly, because anything could happen there. Those are 4-ounce gloves. You're rolling around with a guy. A lot of crazy stuff could happen in there. So it's a guy that I'm not going to take lightly, and it's a guy that, I'm on Strikeforce main card, so it's something that's awesome, and I want to perform, and I want to make it look real good. You know
what he looks like, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of the sideburns?
I might grow a pair myself.
Really? Just to combat his?
Well, I still got it going. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Then I don't want him to get angry at me. That's saying he has better mutton chops. Is that what they call them? Mutton chops.
That'd be a great face-off at the weigh-ins. If you rock the mutton chops, or even if you just put the fake ones, just to sort of.
That might be a better idea, because this is starting to itch.
Yeah, trust me, I know all about that. And he's also a fireman too, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I got a lot of friends that are firemen, FDNY guys, so it's something that's pretty cool to me, man. So it feels like I guess that's what he does for a living, but. MMA can't really be a hobby, so I'm sure he's training real hard for this. He doesn't fight too often, so I'm sure when it comes time to fight, he puts in the work.
Is this your full-time job?
It's my full-time job. I'm 25 years old, so still living home with mom.
Nice.
So it's just.
Are they coming to the fight?
Is your mom coming? Mom, no. I wouldn't expect her to watch me get punched. I don't think she's been to one. No.
Really?
That's got to be hard.
Yeah.
I coach Pee Wee wrestling, and their moms absolutely, this is their first time watching their little sons wrestle and stuff like that, and their moms go berserk, like, oh my God, you can't do that. Yeah. So I can only imagine what it looks like for my mom when I'm getting punched in the face.
But even the biggest fight of your career on this big stage, is she interested? Like, well, she wants to know what's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
it's just she
I'm
doesn't want to
sure.
see you get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and
she
you
can
tells
tell
her
that you're not
friends
gonna
to
get hurt.
go and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Spies.
So yeah, in the beginning it wasn't like that. I'll tell you that. But right
at the
now
beginning
she's
was
starting to
she?
support it.
Because now
yeah,
you're starting to actually make money and you're getting this. At the beginning, she was like, "Why are you even doing this?" Right?
Yeah, I mean, she knows. It's always been a goal of mine since I was little. Always be an athlete. Like I love being. First it was probably baseball, then it was the NFL, and now it's MMA. So, it's something that's what type of person I am. Like, and the rest of my family, that's what they see me as, is the guy who's going to be, successful with athletics and stuff like that. That's my whole life, is being an athlete. I love coaching. I went to school to be a phys ed teacher. It's something that, athletics is my life. So it's just another sport for me. And I think she supports me in the fact that that's something I want to do, that.
When do you think you'll move out of home? Out of your
I don't know. I'll probably stay there for a while. I like it. I got a good setup.
Hey, if you get like some kind of bonus on Saturday. What's the setup? You live in the basement? She doesn't come
no,
down
we have like
after
our
hours?
Me and my brother have like our whole old side of the house. It's pretty cool. So we got a good setup. But no, I mean,
is he going to the fight?
Yeah, he'll be there.
How many people you have coming to the fight on Saturday?
A lot. Let's see. I mean, we sold about I think 200 tickets at my gym, just like that real quick.
Do they make you sell tickets?
No, they don't make you, but I had asked, hey, what can I do? Because for the Ring of Combat, that's, a lot of how we were getting paid was, through ticket sales.
Okay.
And
so
I was selling a lot of tickets, and I was doing my hustle selling tickets, so I would sell like 300 tickets for a Ring of Combat.
Wow.
Pretty easily. And, for them, for Strikeforce, I probably could have got rid of 500 easy, but I got rid of 200 so I didn't have to deal with it, and then the rest, most people just bought them online and stuff like that.
And it's easy when you got also Fedor on the card. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to come, right? Not only just to see you, but it's a pretty good card.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot of my friends, they're like, they like it, but some of my other friends, they don't even know who Fedor is or anything. Some of my other friends don't even watch MMA. They just want to see me get beaten up, I think.
What's the mono? They're actually rooting against you?
Oh,
wow,
absolutely.
Geez.
Why not?
Good friends. What's the most amount of people that you've ever competed in front of?
Geez. Well, I mean, I've played football in some big stadiums, but
right,
one-on-one's a whole nother,
whole
nother thing. I don't know. Whatever Ring of Combat holds, what do you think? Probably like 4,500, I would say, something like that.
I need to go to one of those shows.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, man. And we got a lot of good fighters coming out of there. You could just Frankie Edgar. They got studs that come out of there. So, it's definitely something that's pretty awesome, and it's always packed. It's always sold out. So, this is going to be a whole nother step up. I'm sure it's like 10 Ring of Combats in one in there. I don't know what the capacity is.
I think they're going for between 12 and 15, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an awful lot. I mean, I think high school state championships, there's probably good 7,000 or 8,000 at that,
Right.
So that's one-on-one, I guess.
Yeah, that is one-on-one. All right, let's go to the phone lines. A few minutes left here with John. Line number 2, Lewis in Long Island. On Long Island, I should say. Lewis, how are you? Oh, he's listening.
Hello?
Yeah, Lewis, put your computer down, please.
Yeah, I just turned it off right now.
All right, what's up?
Hey, is this Ariel?
This is Ariel.
What's up, man? Just want to say you're my favorite MMA reporter of all time.
Thanks, man. What about Gian Villante here?
The Roseland ballroom. Yeah, Gian Villante.
What was that about Roseland?
Yeah, I wanted to know. I have no idea what it was. Is there a cover for that?
No, 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow. You gonna go to that fan experience thing?
It depends. If I have time, I need to get some training in.
Yeah, it's true. So. It's not all fun and games.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get some training. I'm gonna try to make it down, but we'll see. I'm in Long Island, so it's a little bit of a commute.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
4 to 6 p.m. at the Roseland Ballroom. All 8 heavyweights and maybe some others from the Grand Prix will be there.
Is there a cover for it? How much is it to get in there? What's the deal with that?
You know what? I don't know. Do you know?
I don't think there's a cover.
Yeah,
I think it's just like a meet and greet type thing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But you can find out more on strikeforce.com.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Cool?
Yeah, I also want to shout out to Gian. It's I live right here in Uniondale, and it's really cool to see, these guys, the guys out from Long Island, kicking ass out there. So
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Uniondale, right by Hofstra, so I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Thanks,
I walk by. I go to Nassau, so it's cool. It's really awesome to see these guys, out there in the MMA world and stuff like that. So I
Thanks,
just want to
man.
give a shout out to him. And
Are you a big Islanders fan?
huh?
New York Islanders? No, probably not.
No
right?
way.
Yeah. Who is? Let's give you want a Cage Hero T-shirt, Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this T-shirt. This is the same one that John's wearing. I like it. All right, Joe is gonna hook you up with this. Get your.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is the first time I ever got to talk on any radio show ever on anything.
There you
and
go.
I got something for free. I didn't even have to ask for it. These guys, you guys are awesome, man.
Cool, man. Well, thank you for the call, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll get your information now.
All right, thanks.
All right, cool. Let's bring Chris in. Chris, have a seat, Chris. This is Chris Weidman, right? Yes. Pronouncing that correctly? You are a big prospect as well, my friend. 4-0, Ring of Combat, right?
Yep.
Middleweight champ?
Yep.
You beat Ryan Bader in college?
Yep.
Who's the
Man.
other guy? Tell me the other guy.
Who's the other guy?
Oh man.
Come on.
We got to call people out. It's so much fun.
Come on. Who do you got?
Phil Davis.
You beat Phil Davis in college.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's the man though. He won nationals. I didn't.
So and you fight at 185.
Yeah.
Those are big boys.
Yeah. I cut a lot of weight for 85.
Wow.
When I decided to get into MMA, I wanted to take it very serious. Obviously, making it my career. And when I was wrestling, I always felt like if I had a disadvantage, it might have been size. I was facing guys like Ryan Bader and Phil Davis, and I felt like my body type might have been a little small in there. So down to 85 I go.
And how do you feel in terms of your progression? You're 4-0, obviously. I mean, what are the goals here for you? How far away are you from fighting on Strikeforce cards, UFC cards, etc.?
Hopefully as soon as possible. I mean,
You're ready.
I feel like I'm ready, definitely. Just trying to stay injury free, which is so hard. But I've been, I'm in talks with. I talked to Strikeforce, talked to Bellator. They're both, highly interested. But right now, my coaches Ray Longo, Matt Serra, they kind of want me to be in the UFC. They feel like that's where I should be.
Well, they're a little biased, right?
They're a little biased, yeah. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'm living in the basement, wife, baby, and I'm so tempted to just take the quick money and take one of these spots. But in the long run, some of the people who are guiding me into the right direction are saying I should wait. And
what is it like being part of Team Longo? Those two guys, they need a reality show. Those two guys.
It is awesome. They definitely do. They are hysterical.
I've seen
awesome.
Some of the video blogs with Matt Serra. I'm sure you saw them too, the UFC ones, and it's incredible. Their chemistry is second to none.
It is hysterical. They're the best.
But they are good coaches, right? They've been mentoring you.
Yeah, very good.
Now,
awesome.
How come you're not a part of Team Longo?
I feel like I am.
Okay.
No, those are my boys. So those are good. But Belmore Kickboxing's my home. They're awesome. I mean, you could have a TV show with me and Keith too, but it wouldn't be as comical, and it would have to be like X-rated. Well, no, not X. That's like nudity, right? No, cursing.
What
whatever
kind
you call
of team
that.
is this?
Yeah, we just yell at each other and rip on each other all day, and it's
totally different.
It's nothing good.
Episode.
Yeah.
You know what I like about this? New York MMA doesn't get a lot of love.
Right.
But I feel it. We had Josh Barnett in studio a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me, he's like, "Oh yeah, you need to move to the West Coast," even as a journalist, And I'm like, it's coming. I feel it. We got the lightweight champion here, right? I mean, I just sense this shift, right?
It has to come soon.
Yeah, and New York. I mean, like I've been to the West Coast, train out there and stuff like that. But this is where I want to be, man. This is what.
Is it a different vibe out here?
Yeah, it's a different vibe. I mean, I think it's us.
Not just in terms of the people, but in terms of the training and the atmosphere.
I mean, I think it's guys that are more hungry. I don't nothing against those, but we have more to prove. I feel like because we're coming from these smaller markets and stuff.
Is it
like
harder
that.
for an East Coast guy to get a big fight because you're not readily available? There's San Jose, Strikeforce, UFC Vegas, all that. Is it harder, or do you think it's the same?
It's got to be a little harder, I'm sure, because if you're out there, you're right in their face. But out here, you need your people to get your name out there somehow, and you got to really impress. And I'm sure it's harder for, we have to, at a Ring of Combat, that's pretty much like the only show out here on the East Coast that I know that's pretty big, that stays here. At something like that, you have to go and impress every time out. Otherwise, you ain't really going to get onto no bigger show.
Now, I know Chris is on Twitter because earlier you tweeted
yeah,
me, Chris.
like
yeah,
that.
And I'm following you now.
New.
But let me tell you something. There is a girl here that popped up, Casey Starr. You know Casey?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. She just informed me that Gian is also on Twitter, but you have no tweets and you're not following anyone. I have a feeling that this is some kind of ruse here. Who is Casey Starr?
I don't know, but I
Go
know
on.
that I do.
Let me tell you something about Casey.
Terrible at it. I don't understand
Look at
this
Casey
thing.
Starr.
Oh, very pretty. She
Yeah.
looks familiar, too.
You know her.
Yeah.
Well,
This is awesome.
At Casey Starr, definitely a looker right there. Is this a friend of yours?
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep it up, please.
It's Mark's
Well, who's
sister,
scared?
actually.
Oh, so I was
No,
sorry.
it's his girlfriend. It's his girlfriend.
Oh, it's his girlfriend. Well, it's good to be the owner of Cage Hero,
Yeah,
right?
I guess so.
Okay, something's going on here because I'm looking at her page and it's all like Cage Hero stuff. So now I understand
Yeah,
what's
now you
going on.
got it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you were on
Now
Twitter.
you
Did
know.
you even know that?
Yeah, but I don't understand it. What is
Dude,
it?
it's not
Then
that
all of a
hard.
sudden, all these like symbols come up.
It is,
It's
yeah.
not that
people
hard.
write too much. It is insane.
You just got
I
on?
just started really learning. Actually, they've been helping
Smart.
me. Cage Hero on
I
them.
am a computer spaz, man.
Yeah.
He's terrible.
You got to do it. It's smart. It's
Yeah.
good. It's good for your branding.
Facebook, that don't count.
No, Facebook's not as cool.
Oh my
It is good,
gosh.
but Twitter's very immediate. You know, people following you, things like that. Dana White has like 1.5 million followers. He could get the word out.
I've got like a Nokia phone. You can't even use that. I'm in trouble.
no.
He's going with the iPhone soon, though, right?
Good. That's good.
Verizon.
And also, you could do it just on the computer.
Oh, I am bad at this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll
Where's your
get
Cage
it
Hero
done,
t-shirt,
I
by the way?
promise.
I don't know. I didn't think I was gonna be on.
Oh, okay, okay. We could give you one, but that's for the fans. By the way, let's
Just
show
hold this up. Just
Yeah.
hold this up.
Look at this. This is a lithograph. Mark, you don't want to be on, right, Mark? You don't want to explain. Okay. This is a lithograph. This is the This is the shirt that they're wearing. This is the same picture. And the good people of Cage.
It's like a Superman punch. I might
This-
try to use that.
How many of 200? It just says of 200. Oh, one. This is it. This is it right here. And we'll give this out to a fan as well on the show. Maybe not even on this show. Maybe we'll build up to it. You know, make them work for it because this is special, right? We don't just give this out to a listener.
Let's have like a
What?
trivia or something.
Trivia,
Can we do
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But I have to build that. I don't have that ready.
okay.
But you come back when you win. Maybe even next week.
All right,
you
I'm
know?
in. I'm in. We're
You know?
close, man. We got to keep this
we're
East
tight.
Coast thing
East
going.
Coast thing.
We gotta get
going.
New York going.
Exactly.
Come
I think
out
we
west.
might have Scott Coker in studio next week. So,
I'm in with him, man.
yeah.
You got to set that up. Maybe I could get in his ear and tell him, hey, you should pay
Does
me
he even know who
$1
you
million
are right now? I mean,
probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. Let's be
I
honest.
want to tell him, hey, you should give me like $1 million. For
$1 million
this next
deal.
fight.
Also,
Let's do it.
bonuses. You know, UFC has a knockout bonus. Strikeforce doesn't do that, and we
Yeah.
need to get you
You
guys
should
on
get
that.
a bonus if you land like a what was that guy's name?
Who?
Pettis. If you
Oh,
land
Showtime kick.
Anthony
Yeah,
Pettis
yeah.
kick,
Like a pizza move.
Right.
$10,000.
Yeah.
Or the
Pie-
Steven
pie.
Seagal kick.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Steven Seagal, that's like $50,000 right there.
Right. Okay, we have a minute left because we got to go to John Cholish. You guys know John Cholish?
He does.
I've met him once or
Yeah,
twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him fight. He's a
Cornell,
tough guy.
wrestled
Cornell. He's also fighting on the undercard
Yeah.
against Mark Stevens. Why aren't you fighting on this card, by the way?
I fractured my rib actually.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yeah, this
When are you
guy's
going to be
too tough
back?
For me.
When
Probably like 4 weeks
Okay.
to heal up. And
All
then,
right.
see
Well,
what
good luck
happens.
with that.
Thanks.
I just want to get your take. Fedor, what do you guys think? Is he winning? Bigfoot?
Oh, man.
Tell the truth.
Whoa. You got some insider info?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna help out all those bettors out there. No, I don't think Bigfoot's a bad bet. Actually,
Really?
I don't think it's a terrible bet at this point. You know.
So you're picking Bigfoot.
Because he's
Did you say that to
No,
Fedor
I
when he was
would
walking out? No.
I did
No
not.
way.
Yeah, right.
No way. He's scary as anything. But I don't know.
You're picking Fedor?
Me, yeah, I'm a big fan, man. To go that long and not be beat is insane. You know what I mean?
Come on,
So-
don't go that route.
Yeah.
That's-
I'm
Mr.
just saying he's
Politician over
awesome,
here.
but
Come on.
Bigfoot's he's tough, man. He's huge
I
too.
think-
That's in size, like he said, size is an advantage
Yeah,
in some of
big-
those things. Like
big
Forrest
difference.
Griffin, you saw.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that had to do with how big he was,
Right.
you know, versus Rich Franklin. And this is another fight where this guy's a lot big. But Fedor's dealt with that before with guys that are huge.
That's
so,
true. He's
I don't
usually
know.
undersized. Okay, here's the
Yeah.
big prediction.
All right, here we go.
Will Gian Villante fight in the Strikeforce tournament? Will something happen? Sneaks his way in, shocks the world, champ, fights Overeem for the title. Will this happen? What's your take?
I get a bye to the finals. I'll
Well,
take
you know,
that.
you
That'd be
don't know
pretty
what
awesome.
happens,
I
you
don't
know?
know. I think Lightning has to strike like 17 times
Yeah.
or something
Hey,
like
you
that.
gotta be
for that.
positive.
But no, hey, it'd be awesome. But yeah, I'll predict yes.
Yes? What about you?
I think he has Fedor in the finals.
Damn.
And after
Who
what
wins?
you just
Who
said,
wins?
he's in big trouble. Overhand right to the ear.
I
Awesome.
said he's gonna
Goes
win.
to sleep.
Guys, pleasure to have you on. Really great to have you guys on.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so
Thank
much,
you. I
Chris.
appreciate
It's great
that.
to have guys pop into the studio. And good luck on Saturday night. This man over here, Gian Villante, faces Chad Griggs. It airs live on Showtime and also at the Izod Center. You can go check it out if you're in the New York area. I believe plenty of tickets available. He's already got his hands up. He thinks he won the fight. In a second, we're going to be joined by John Cholish, who's fighting Mark Stevens on the undercard. For now, here is Miguel Torres and I speaking after UFC 126 about his big win over Antonio Benuelos. We'll be back in a second. Ariel Helwani post-fight at UFC 126 alongside Miguel Torres, who defeated Antonio Banuelos tonight, and clearly he is happy. He is getting a good look at this nose. This is what put you over.
I'm ready for it. Now I told you.
This is what's next.
Fight. The battle's next. The mullet versus the nose. It's going down. Or we could combine forces. We could combine forces and we could be teammates.
Wow.
However you want to do it. You pick your poison.
Let me think about that for the next couple of minutes. Let's first talk about your fight. You know, we've been watching you for a long time, Miguel. And, you know, you've often tried to fight fire with fire. You've come out guns blazing. You've shown it all to us. In my opinion, one of the smartest fights that you've ever fought. WC, UFC, of course, this was your debut. Yet, you were getting booed. How frustrating is that?
For me, it's not frustrating. You know, before the old Miguel Torres would have heard the boos and would have went crazy, tried to finish the guy and tried to pull some crazy stuff out of his, out of his back. But, you know, I had to fight smart. I was training to fight a smart fight. I stayed in Montreal for 2 months away from my friends and my family and my students to do smart and be a good fighter, and I did that. I thought I did exactly to a T what my game plan was. To use my boxing, use my range, stay out of the ground, and keep the guy on his feet, and everything I trained to do, I did. So the crowd didn't like it. You know, I apologize, guys, but I had to fight a smart fight. Antonio's a dangerous fighter. Every time I tried chasing him or he came close, he threw overhand rights that almost caught me, so I had to be a smart fighter.
How do you ignore the boos?
Just training. You know, I've trained under Faraz for about a good 5-6 months now, and you know, I pay such attention. I have such a focus that I felt the boos. I felt it. I wanted to go crazy, but I had to stay calm and just stay to my game plan. You know, I could hear his voice through all that noise.
And that was the game plan, right? I mean, you used your reach, your jab. You were kind of like palming him in the face. I mean, frustrating him. And according to CompuStrike, you outlanded him 87-17 in terms of punches landed. I mean, that's a dominant performance.
Right. I mean, you know, for me, like I said, my game plan worked. The game plan was to frustrate him with my stand-up, to make him shoot, sprawl him out, take his back, and choke him. I mean, it's a smart game plan. He didn't want to shoot. I was waiting for the shot, and it never came. And you know, the fight turned out the way it did. You know, I shouldn't even apologize. I did my job. I did my job.
Where'd you learn that palming move?
You know, my last fight against Valencia, I think it was like 5 days before the fight. I was getting frustrated because all the guys that trained that are shorter than me throw overhand rights. When I fought Benavidez, I had a hard fight because I was standing real tall, and I lose my range punching down. And you know, working with Faraz, you know, he had me lowering my stance and using my jab, you know, in a traditional style, like a Jack Dempsey style. And I just started palming it out, you know. I started watching Nick Diaz fight, his old fights where he would like stick his hands out, and I started doing it, and it worked. Guys couldn't come in on me. It was hard for them to shoot on me. I was keeping my range a lot more, and it worked.
And also your foot movement I thought was very good. You know, switching angles, backpedaling. I mean, you really showed the arsenal, and I think you've really actually, you know, you've always been known as a striker, but you've actually improved as a striker. I'm guessing that's a credit to the guys at TriStar, right? And also the Grant brothers?
100%, 100%. But it's very funny because before, when I came on the scene, my stand-up was very, very choppy. And everyone's like, oh, he's got one of the best stand-ups and one of the best jabs in the game, and I didn't. And now I'm showing better stand-up and better skills, and people are bullying me, so it's kind of funny. So.
What was it like being out there in a UFC cage? Any different than a WC setting?
No difference whatsoever. You know, I train in a small cage. You know, the UFC's got a big cage. I fought in WC. WC's cage in the middle. And for me, it's just more room for the other guy to run. I found no big difference in it whatsoever.
So now, okay, you're 2-0 in your last 2 fights. You've put those 2 losses, you know, in the rearview mirror to Bulls and Benavidez. Do you feel as though you're in the title mix?
You know, whatever Dana White wants, you know, whatever Joe Silva wants. For me, I'm not trying to rush anything. You know, I'm working a lot on my game. People are seeing a different side of me they've never seen before. It's going to confuse a lot of guys now because they're preparing for the old Miguel Torres, who's going to come out guns blazing. Now I'm a more, you know, relaxed, laid-back fighter who's going to pick you apart and make you suffer from the outside.
Is it safe to say you've become a little more humble as a fighter, not as a person, but as a fighter?
I think it's both. You know, I still might be a little cocky on Twitter and say some crazy things, but as a person, as a human being, you know, Faraz didn't just change my game as a fighter. You know, he changed me as a person.
Is Miguel Torres. By the way, at the end of that interview, Miguel and I actually talked about maybe joining forces, the mullet and the nose. We might become, you know, maybe some kind of like Jew-Mexican faction here. So stay tuned for that. We might be joining forces after all. But thank you so much to Gian Villante and Chris Weidman for stopping by.